That was a really climactic ending. Holy shit.
And we all know who died at the end of Hardball. Anyway, what's up, everybody? It's Kent Berry here. Touchdowns and Tangents, NFL Draft episode. We've been waiting for this all year. If it wasn't a quarantine, we'd be in Vegas being shit-faced lit out of our minds. But we're here serving the people.
Is that what we're calling this now?
Yeah, I guess. 6 feet away from the general public and away from each other. Pete, go ahead and get your shit off.
The fucking Raiders, man. That's all I have to say.
Shout out to X Squad affiliates. Shout out to Full Press Coverage T. Shout out to
the Good News radio station.
Yes, Good News
Where we're
Sports.
at, Hawthorne.
Yeah, you know, Hawthorne.
Your favorite
Mondale.
podcast app. Shout out to them.
Shout out to teams that draft slow ass corners that would have been picked like 80 picks or 70 picks from where they actually got picked.
But yeah, man, it's been a long week for me, and you know, I was kind of hoping that the Raiders wouldn't fuck this up and would, you know, give me some energy to ride into the show. But considering they are who we know they are, they get too cute and have to zag when everybody's zigging. And, of course, naturally, they take a receiver who many people thought was the fourth best receiver as the first receiver taken, and they take a corner many people had anywhere from the second to fourth round as the fourth corner selected, passing on some other guys with probably a little bit more.
Holy shit, that guy went the first round? Wow. We're going to get to this. Yeah, pretty much the Raiders like kissed you on the cheek and then bitch slapped you with the other hand.
And honestly, I can't really say I'm surprised because they kind of did it last year too. And it's not that I don't like the players. I just don't necessarily like the value in terms of what was left on the board. Like, I don't know. I guess considering the first trade didn't come until the 49ers at 13, maybe the 49ers were going to take Ruggs, so the Raiders had to take him. That's kind of what they did a few years ago. What the 49ers did to the Raiders a few years ago when they took McGlinchey, and then the Raiders kind of traded back. So I don't know if it was a situation like that. And I know that there were rumors saying that Arnett was higher on teams' boards than the media's boards. But I think the biggest thing with Arnett is just the speed.
He didn't give up a touchdown.
But yeah, he didn't give it a touchdown. He has good feet. Like he's a good prospect.
Do you hope that he's Antoine Winfield and that
I just hope he's not Garyon Conley.
I mean, I wish they would just stay away from Ohio State corners.
Just based off of what people are saying about him in terms of like being the other corner who's equally as good as the top corner,
but he wasn't.
Even though he wasn't.
He's nowhere near as good as Okudah.
Yeah. So that's kind of just what the story kind of resonates. And then in terms of Ruggs,
how many corners did they draft last year, bro?
Yeah, that's true.
They
but I mean, they still needed a corner.
Isaiah Johnson. Okay.
They still needed a corner, but
they drafted like 3 corners last year.
And then with
How
Ruggs,
do you not take a linebacker?
With Ruggs, I like the pick too. I would have liked him more at 19 than 12. I would have liked him more as the third or fourth receiver taken than the first. But I mean, we were talking about it last week. He's a guy who we didn't really know where he was going to go. He could go anywhere from the top 10 to the second round, and so
I thought
the Raiders not having a second round pick, I'm sure that they just wanted to make sure that they got their guy.
I think they could have just traded down and got like 3 or 4 guys, but that's just me. I would have traded a first round pick for 2 seconds.
I just think what does that mean for Tyrell Williams? Because I thought Tyrell Williams was a speed guy, and I thought you were going to get somebody else, a big physical receiver opposite him.
He's a number 2 guy who ran like a 4.5 or a 4.49.
Exactly.
He's the second guy. He's
Exactly. And that's why I think a receiver like Lamb or Judy would have been perfect opposite him versus Ruggs.
What if Lamb had actually made it to 19? Do you think the Raiders would have pulled it?
I think he would have had to, right? Or at least trade back to whoever would have wanted him.
I would have definitely been like, I'm going to take Lamb. I mean, I would have took Denzel Mims at 19. That would have been a better pick than Arnett.
Well,
who actually is a number one receiver and has number one traits. 4.3 speed, 40 inch vertical, dominated at the Senior Bowl.
Well, I think with him, there's a lot of...
Actually ran a pro route tree.
There's a lot of, like, questions about why he wasn't even more dominant. So,
well, it was Baylor, and Charlie Brewer led the team in rushing touchdowns. All they got to do is go back and watch it. I think it's just because he went to Baylor and they're still not sure. Is he really like running a full route tree? And then he went to the Senior Bowl and proved it. But I think there's so many receivers in this class, they almost screw each other over because you could justify not taking one because you know there's going to be a bunch in the second round.
And that's,
what do the Raiders do knowing they need another receiver? Because all you got, like, you have a fast guy.
And to your point, you know, I think the TCU receiver,
Jalen Reagor,
he went 21, right? So clearly there was a premium on speed at the receiver position. I think that those two guys going, you know, out of the top four proves that NFL teams were valuing speed when they were looking at this position.
I think Dallas would have definitely took Ruggs. I think Denver would have took Ruggs. I think Ruggs would have been gone. Now, worst falling and the Niners trading picks with them, so the Tampa Bay could go up one pick.
Low-key, the fucking Niners like finessed the shit out of that. That was brilliant. Because when you think about it, they lost Buckner, right? Well, they were gonna lose Armstead, but they were able to free up money to keep Armstead by moving Buckner, who's gonna need a new deal after this year. So they got that pick for Buckner. Then they moved that pick one spot, got additional picks, and essentially got Buckner's replacement on the low for cheap. And that's the sort of move that you kind of make to prolong your dynasty. Like, those are the kind of moves that we haven't seen other Super Bowl hangover teams make, like the Falcons and the Rams and the Seahawks, like in terms of
speaking of the Falcons,
smart gambles that actually pay off.
Speaking of the Falcons and smart gambles that pay off, they took a guy who gambled and got his ass beat in the national title game, A.J. Terrell.
But that's the pick we had, I think, in our mock draft.
Nah, I didn't have him going to the Falcons.
No, in the mock draft we did live last week.
Wasn't it Chase on?
Oh yeah, you're right. But I think Terrell was our third corner though.
Yeah, he was first round still.
Yeah,
he was to the Vikings, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there you go. He was to the Vikings at 20.
That's high. Was it 15? 16?
Yep.
I wouldn't have taken Henderson that high if I was Jacksonville, but they ended up getting Chase on anyway. So I guess I would have taken a QB. If I was the Jaguars, I would have either taken Wirfs and put him at guard and figured it out because they already drafted Juwan Taylor last year.
I like what they did with Henderson. I mean, he's
or
the second best corner.
Judy, if I'm not.
He's the second best corner, and you can still revisit wide receiver at the top of the second round. You can still give Mishnu another look before you fully move on to another quarterback.
Cam.
There's other guys you can get. Jameis. I know they've talked about possibly signing Jameis.
Forgot about Jameis. After all this, I forgot about Jameis Winston.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's still quarterback options out there. What I thought was crazy was number 4. You know, I think that's really when the draft started. The first 3 were kind of all well predicted.
That tackle run.
But yeah, the tackle run and Thomas going number 1 first.
Andrew Thomas
being the first tackle selected when a lot of people had him as the 3rd or 4th option.
Yeah, he went 4th overall to the Giants, who I really thought should have taken Isaiah Simmons. And boy, are the Cardinals like, are we the luckiest bastards here?
Pretty much. That was a good pick. I
can't pass Isaiah Simmons at 8.
I like what the Panthers did, too, getting Derrick Brown. I know we kind of went back and forth on Simmons or Brown in our mock draft last week.
And the Ravens just took Patrick Queen.
I don't think the Panthers could have fucked that pick up, honestly. Yeah. Simmons or Brown, I think, was a good selection.
And they already figured they had Burns, they had Shaq Thompson, they had Bruce Irvin.
Yeah. So they don't have Irvin. Irvin's with the Hopkins.
Oh, yeah, he left. Well, they have 2 of those guys, and they figured, well, might as well take Because, I mean, they lost Gerald McCoy. You have, what's his face, Kawan Short, but realistically...
Well, they lost pretty much their whole defensive line rotation because they had Poe, they had McCoy, they had, they lost Starr 2 years ago, they lost, Addison, who was a pass rush end, Irvin. So they're really turning over that whole defensive line, and Carolina's always built up front, a lot like Jacksonville. So I like that pick. Overall, though, my biggest takeaway from this experience...
Is that Ezra Cleveland I see? Oh, wow.
I told you go in the first round.
Tennessee?
Oh, my God. Patrick Queen to the Ravens? Are you serious? That's filthy. That's not even fair.
They honeypotted us because that...
Jordan Brooks in the first round?
Texas Tech, yeah. Went to Seattle.
That is a high pick.
Unless they think he's going to be another Bobby Wagner.
Damn.
Who's KJ Wright's replacement.
Damn. The Seahawks. Really? That's a shocker for me.
I'm surprised they didn't go receiver, honestly.
I'm shocked.
Michael Pittman Jr. would have been perfect for
That
Seattle.
was like the one position where I didn't think they would go. Like, they have Wagner, they have Wright, and they have Griffin. But you take Brooks in the top of the...
KJ Wright's up there, though.
No, I know that. They're right at 30. Like, so I could see replacing them, but they still had needs in the secondary. They still had needs at receiver.
And D-line.
Yep.
But,
and then your boy Jordan Love goes to the Packers, number 26 overall, which...
You know where Aaron Rodgers went, right? 24th overall.
That's what's crazy is the Packers moved up to take a quarterback in Love.
Shout out to them taking black quarterbacks and believing in them.
I don't even really know why, because
Aaron Rodgers
Miami already had a quarterback.
15 years in the league.
The Seahawks weren't going to take him. The Ravens weren't going to take him. The Titans were going to take him, I guess. They had to get in front of the Titans. Maybe.
Yeah, but you don't know if the Patriots were going to do something.
Maybe.
So they traded that pick.
True.
And then the Chargers traded with the Patriots and got Kenneth Murray. So they got a franchise quarterback and a franchise middle linebacker in the first round. That's some Baltimore Ravens type shit where they got Ogden and then they got Ray Lewis.
Yeah, that's some shit I would have liked to see the Raiders do, but...
All they had to do was just take a linebacker, but for some reason
they're just trying to build a team with complementary players. And it's upsetting.
It's like I said.
It's upsetting.
Like I said in the mock draft, you'll probably take Logan Wilson in the 4th round, but you could have took a better linebacker in the 1st round.
Overall, though, from this whole entire experience, and it's not fully wrapped up yet, we're still in the last 5 picks, but just overall top line, what I took away from this draft, and, I don't know if it's just because of the new format, everyone being remote, everyone essentially being on a Zoom call like the rest of us, or maybe I was just paying a little bit more attention this year than other years, but it just felt like everybody had some sort of trauma.
Shout out to CeeDee Lamb snatching the phone back from his girl. That's how you get cut off the team. Who the fuck are you to grab my phone on national television? The Cowboys ain't looking for you. The Cowboys don't even know your name. They only know your name because of me. That's not sexist. That's just who the fuck are you to grab my phone on live TV? I had an Ike Turner moment. I'm sorry. Regardless. My little brother grabbed the phone. I'd be like, what is wrong with you? I will hit you.
Yeah. But anyways, I just thought it was crazy that every player had something that they went through in terms of
Kinlaw, Judy. A lot of these cats do, especially coming out of Florida.
But even Chase Young, shouting out his grandpa. Somebody else had their mom who died. Oh, Ukuda had his mom who died.
Yeah.